Hi, welcome to Transferring Orders and Viewing Items in Transit in Dynamics NAV. In this section, I'll be showing you how to process a transfer order in a situation where all the items that leave one location also arrive in the other one. To manually create a transfer order from one location to another, I'll search for transfer orders using the search field. From here, you'll see a listing of all our existing transfer orders. I'll create a new one by selecting New in the ribbon. The system will automatically generate a transfer order number. In this case, I would want the transfer from code to transfer from the blue warehouse into the red warehouse. So here, I'll put in the blue warehouse. And the transfer to code would be the red warehouse. You can see that the system automatically registers this as an outsourced logistics for the in-transit code. And now I can put in my items. So for the item number, I would be choosing item number 70003 for the rear panel. And then I'll put in a quantity of 20 pieces. So now if I click on Post in the ribbon, you can see that both actions of shipping and receiving. And since I clicked on Post selecting the ship quantity, the quantity to ship field will now become 0, indicating that there won't be any quantity to ship anymore since everything has been shipped. And now there's a quantity to receive of 20. So let's say a couple of days later, the items arrive in the location red. So I can change the posting date to 4 days later. So that'll be February 20th, 2018. And now if I go back and click on Post, we can now receive the items. As you can see, the transfer order has been deleted, and it's important to note the transfer order is now deleted because it means that the transfer order is completely finished. So we have shipped all the items and they have all been received in the transfer to code. So now using the search function, I'm going to search for the posted transfer receipts. So here's a listing of all the posted transfer receipts. So the transfer from code of blue to the transfer to code of red was the item that I just posted. And then you'll see the 20 pieces that have been posted. So now I'm going to go back into my list of items and search for item number 70,003. And I'm going to select the rear panel. And under the Navigate tab, I'm going to click on Entries and then check on the ledger entries. From here, the last 4 lines indicate the transfer of the item that we had just made. Sometimes in the process of shipping an item, some items get lost or damaged, which means that the items that arrive aren't the same number as the quantity of the ones that have left. In this section, I'll talk about how to resolve or process items that have been lost or damaged in transit. So I'll search for transfer orders in the search field. And then I'm going to create a new transfer order. So again, the system will automatically generate a transfer order number. And then I'll put the transfer from code from blue to red. And as for the item, I'll put in item number 1908S, which is the London swivel chair. So let's say we have 20 pieces that are being transferred and they all leave location blue. And then I'll post this process. And from here, you can see that we are ready to receive 20 pieces. But let's say in transit, on their way, something went wrong and some of these chairs got lost or damaged and there are only 15 pieces that arrive in location red. So now I'll change the quantity to receive from 20 to 15. I'll click Post and do a partial receipt. We can see that there's still a quantity to receive of 5. So the system is still waiting on the 5 missing chairs, but we know that these chairs will not arrive in location red. As long as the items are in transit, you cannot delete the transfer order. To resolve this, I can receive the 5 pieces for now and correct them afterwards. So I'll select Post to receive the items. And as you can see, the transfer order is now deleted. So to correct the 5 chairs that were not actually received, I'll have to go into the item journal and manually correct the 5 chairs that we have in location red but are not physically there. So I'll go into the item journals. So I'll go into the item journal and post an entry type of a negative adjustment. For the item number, I'll pick item number 1908 to mark the swivel chair. And the location code would be from the red. As for quantity, we're going to put in 5 pieces. Then I'll select Applies to Entry. From here, I'll select the rows that show the quantity of 5 with a posting date of Feb 16, 2018. After this, I can select Post. So now I'm going to go back into the item and look at its ledger entries. I'm going to search for 1908S. Then if I go into the Navigate tab and under Entries, click on Ledger Entries. From here, I could see that the item has been received incorrectly, which is -5. But again, it has been corrected. The concept of transferring orders in Dynamics NAV is important both for identifying in-transit locations and for tracking the quantity and value of items that may take longer to transfer, for example, in a couple of weeks or even months. There are a couple of ways to look at the items in transit. The first one is by going into the item list, and under the Navigate tab, I can select items by location. If I uncheck Show Items in Transit, and then click on Show Matrix, it'll bring up an overview of the physical quantities we have in different locations. So as an example, if I scroll down, I can see how many swivel chairs I have in the blue, red, green, etc. locations. You can also sort the items by location and click on Show Matrix to bring up a list of the items in transit in different locations. So to do that, I'll check on this item and click on Show Matrix. So as an example, I can see 25 of the Athens desks in transit. Another way to look at items in transit is by using one of the availability views. So under the Navigate tab, I can select Item Availability By. For this example, I'll put in item number 1906, which is the Athens mobile pedestal. And I'll click on Item Availability By and select by location. From here, I can see the quantity in transit. So for the yellow location, I have 40. Apart from having an overview of items in transit, it's also important to look into the total value of these items. To do this, I'll search for Inventory Valuation Report in the search field. This report is frequently used to give an overview of the total value of our inventory, but in this case, I'll use this report to view the value of only my items in transit. To do this, I'll put a date of March 30th, 2018, and then I'll put in a location filter of my outsourced logistics and my own logistics. So I'm going to be using these two logistics since these are my two in-transit locations. Then I'll select Send To as a PDF. From here, you can see both item locations that have been applied, and these are the items that are in transit and their corresponding value. This report shows the remaining quantity for these items, their value, and in the bottom, the total value of $65,289.70 of the items in transit. And that's how we can transfer orders and view items in transit in Dynamics NAV. Thanks for watching.